The next question comes from Sean Reviews, who asks, favorite movie of 2018? That would have to be, big shocker, Avengers Infinity War. I didn't really watch many movies, at least movies that came out in 2018, so yeah, but Infinity War it's amazing. It's one of my favorite movies now. It's definitely my favorite, like, Avengers movie, and yeah, it was really, really good, and I still think about it sometimes, and also definitely one of the best movies in the MCU. But yeah, that was my favorite movie of 2018. I know that isn't very exciting, because there are probably other people who also think Infinity War is their favorite. Well, either that or Into the Spider-Verse, but I haven't seen it, so yeah, Infinity War is my favorite. And Sean's second question is, favorite Fire Emblem character? This is easy. Morgan. It's always been Morgan from Fire Emblem Awakening, and I just love him/her. They are precious, and I love their arc and just their personality of, like Robin, they have amnesia, but they have this arc of moving on from the things they had in the past and enjoying life that they have now. It's kind of hard to explain. It's been a while since I played Awakening, but I just really love Morgan's character, and they're so fucking adorable too. And I love most of their supports are some of the best in the game. I just love Morgan a whole lot. She/he, they are so good. I love them. Yeah, I love Morgan. The next question comes from Persian/Hoor, who asks, favorite anime? This is actually something that I've struggled for a while, because my favorite anime is actually a toss-up between two animes, and those would be Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, or just Gurren Lagann. From a technical standpoint, I think I'd say Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is the better one, but Gurren Lagann just means so much to me, and I just still think about it to this day that I just can't decide between them. Like, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is a perfect anime. As far as I'm concerned, it's the perfect anime. Like, aside from one plot twist, I loved everything about it. It's so good. And Gurren Lagann, while it does have some pretty glaring issues, like the ending is just kinda, no, why? And that kinda sucks. And there are some things that make it a very flawed anime, but the things it does right are just so amazing, and sometimes it just absolutely surpasses the good things that Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood has going for it. But overall, I just love them both equally. I seriously can't decide which one is my favorite, but I love them both. I love Gurren Lagann, I love Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and you should all watch them if you haven't already. They are the best. And Persian/Hoors, next question is, favorite and least favorite character from each Danganronpa game, including another episode and Danganronpa 3 anime. My favorite from the first game is Kyoko Kirigiri. It has always been her, because she's a fun and interesting character. Maybe fun is not the right word with Kyoko, but she's also really cute, and just her, like, character is really well constructed all throughout her time in Danganronpa 1. But yeah, Kyoko is my favorite. As for my least favorite, I'm not actually sure, but I think it's either Leon, Hifumi, or Mukuro. Those three are at the bottom. I think I'm leaning more towards either Leon or Mukuro, because while Hifumi is kind of annoying, he at least gets a laugh out of me. Leon and Mukuro are just, no. Leon is not interesting at all, and his, like, personality and character are really one note and not just no. And Mukuro, I haven't read Danganronpa If, so that could still change my opinion if I ever do decide to read it. But again, she didn't have much character in the first game, and her character in the Danganronpa 3 anime was just bleh. No thank you. It was terrible. That's really the thing that made me hate her, or just dislike her. Oh god. But yeah, those are definitely my least favorites from the first game. As for the second game, my favorite is Fuyuhiko Kuzuryu. He is fucking amazing. I love him. He's my favorite character in the series, and I love him so much. He's fucking great. Though I also love Hajime and Chiaki a lot, but Fuyuhiko's definitely my favorite. As for my least favorite in the second game, I know I'm gonna snout like a broken record, because everyone's gonna say this about the least favorite character. If it's not Teruteru or Akane, it's gonna be Hyoko, and Hyoko's my least favorite. I like every single one in Danganronpa 2 except for Hyoko. Hyoko is just... No. There are some things that I kinda sorta do like about her, but at the same time, mostly she's just a really, really bad character. Really unpleasant character who has nothing more going for her, and for some reason you're supposed to sympathize with her, but yeah, I just can't like Hyoko. Another episode, my least favorite is Haiji Towa. He's probably my least favorite character in the series because he just doesn't make any sense. He contradicts himself so much, or it's kind of hard to explain. And again, it's been a while. Actually, I haven't played another episode yet, but I have watched a playthrough of it, and it's been a while. But yeah, I really didn't like Haiji. He was just really not that, again, like with Hyoko, you're supposed to sympathize with him, but after seeing what he does, I'd rather sympathize with Monika, and I wouldn't sympathize with Monika either if you know what she does in another episode. So, fuck Haiji. He's awful. My favorite from another episode is Komaru. She's adorable, and I really like her growth throughout another episode. And yeah, I love Komaru. She's great. I also really like Jotaro, and I have no idea why people dislike him. I mean, I kinda get why people dislike him, but also, I think he's funny. He's the only warrior of hope that's actually funny. All the others are kind of meh, but Jotaro was cool. He was funny. Danganronpa 3 anime, oh boy. My least favorite was Sonosuke Izayoi, because he was just such a lapdog throughout most of Danganronpa 3, and just there was nothing interesting about his character. Like, he was supposed to be this badass blacksmith, but he just spends the entire fucking anime, like, with Ruruka, and that's another character I don't like, but I think Ruruka had some good things going for her, while Sonosuke is just not good at all. Yeah, I don't like Sonosuke. Sonosuke, I'm probably butchering his name, but I don't care. He sucks. My favorite from Danganronpa 3, I'm not entirely sure what the general consensus on him is, but I don't think a lot of people like him, and that's Kyosuke Munakata. He's my favorite. I didn't really like him at the beginning. I doubt a lot of people did, but by the end I just really came to like him, and he's a real badass too. And his relationship with Juzo and Chisa were just really heartwarming and also really heartbreaking when you remember what happens to these three. And another one that I really liked was, of course, Chisa. She was really cute, and I really liked her teacher role in the Despair arc. And then Danganronpa V3, my favorite in that game is Kaede Akamatsu, because again, she's fucking adorable, and I just really love her personality. I love how she's set up as this kind of Mary Sue, but she's actually not, and oh my god, I love her. It's really easy to also relate to her, but I love Kaede. She's one of the best things about DRV3, hands down. I love her so much. And other characters I really like are Shuichi, Saihara, and Gonta Gokuhara, but Kaede is definitely my favorite. As for my least favorite, this is another easy one, because like DR2, there's only one I dislike in V3, and that's Tenko Chabashira, because she was so annoying throughout a good part of the game, and when she finally gets her redemption, it's just not enough. She was not very good. She was annoying, and her character just didn't go anywhere. But yeah, those are all my favorites and least favorite from each Danganronpa game. And the third question from Persian/sure is how's life? What a simple question. And I can answer, yeah, I'm doing just fine because I beat Vesperia like 2 days ago and I'm still thinking about that game because it's great. Yeah, life is good, life is okay. And the next batch of questions comes from the Astrowolf, and his first question is, most anticipated game of 2019. Now, I'm not actually 100% sure what my most anticipated game for the year is, but one of my most anticipated games is Judgment. I can't remember when it comes out. I think it comes out in June or in summer, but that's basically the new game developed by the Yakuza studio. And I love me some Yakuza. I played through 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2. And they're all fucking great games. And I can't wait to play Judgment. And it's in English. Like, it has English voice acting. And that's just hooey. I did not see that coming. But I'm more than looking forward to it. And I hope it'll be really good. I can't think of any other games aside from Kingdom Hearts 3. But that already came out. So, yeah. Judgment. And the second question of the Astrowolf is, favorite game you played in 2018? You know, I'm actually doing a countdown on this topic pretty soon, hopefully. So stay tuned for that, so you'll get your answer. But yeah, I won't say what my absolute favorite was, because obviously I don't want to give away the #1 entry. But some of my favorites were Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, A Hat in Time, Senran Kagura Estival Versus, and God of War, the original, not the one released last year. You get 4 games. None of those are my favorite, but those are some games that I really enjoyed playing in 2018. I can't give away any more because that would spoil the countdown. The next question comes from my good friend Sol, who asks, hit or miss? I guess they never miss. Huh. I don't know how to answer your question, Mr. Sun, but I'd rather take hit, because if I take miss, then I'll have nightmares about missing an attack at 97% in Fire Emblem. Yeah, I think I'd rather hit, never miss. Huh. Yeah. I hate myself too. The next question comes from Kaim Argonar, and might have butchered the name again. But anyway, his question is, favorite video game OST? Now, the way he worded this on Twitter, I think he was asking what my favorite, piece of soundtrack from any game is. But I'm gonna be kind and answer both my favorite soundtrack, like a singular soundtrack from a video game, as well as my favorite overall soundtrack of any video game. My favorite piece of soundtrack in any video game is the Pursuit theme of the first Ace Attorney game. Cornered is actually perfect. I still think about it. I think about the first time I heard it and I'm like, I want to go back to those days. If I could go back and listen to a piece of music for the first time, it would be Pursuit Cornered from Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. That is the actually best thing I've heard ever, or at least one of the best things. Definitely the best thing I've ever heard in a video game, but Pursuit Cornered is like, oh, it's like nectar. You can't, it's like cocainium. Okay, maybe not like cocainium, because that's bad, but it's like a really, really good, I love it. I love Pursuit Cornered. It's my favorite piece of soundtrack in a video game. As for my favorite, OST overall, again, I don't really have a definitive favorite, but some of my favorites are Sonic Colors, both Tales of Xillia games, Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, Persona 3, all versions, and yeah. I'm probably forgetting some, but those 4 are definitely some of my favorites. I love listening to them a lot, and they are absolutely fantastic. And the next batch of questions comes from Renegade Master, and his first question is, why Donald Duck? As in, why was it my mascot? Because now I have the OC. But the reason why I chose Donald Duck was because I love him. He's like an icon to me. He's one of my favorite like fictional characters too. But he was just a big part of my childhood, and I think he's just, in some ways at least, very familiar to me. I like to think I'm not as selfish as Donald sometimes is, but I do share a lot of traits with Donald, and I relate to him on a spiritual level, and that's why I thought he would be a great fit for the channel. I just love Donald so much. He's fucking great. And his next question is, any old countdown you want to remake? Well, all of my old countdowns, really. If I could, I'd remake fucking all of them, but the reason I don't really want to remake most of my old countdowns is because even though they are really outdated in terms of like my performance and just the overall quality of the video, my opinions haven't changed that much, and I don't really want to do another rehash just to get my opinion like, hey, here's the same opinion I had 5 years ago, but again. Maybe someday I'll do one of those videos where I have like exactly the same opinions, but not right now. Though there are some that I think warrant a remake, even though my opinions haven't changed that much, and I could just do the kind of countdown where I don't accept any of the entries or franchises from that old list, like for example top 10 video game levels. Even though my opinions are still very samey from that old countdown, I have played a lot more games and played a lot more great levels that I think I can be confident with a new list that's comprised of completely new levels to have them as a good representation of my opinion. Like, the number one on that countdown, while it's not my favorite video game level, because that's still Menace from the North A, from Slide 2, but the number one on that other countdown would still be at least one of my all-time favorite video game levels. And there are some others. Top 10 video game franchises would be one that I might want to remake like completely with all of that intact, even though a lot of the entries would be fairly obvious, and there would be a lot of the same as what I did have back then, but that one's definitely under consideration. Also final bosses, but I'm not sure if I'd do that another like other countdown like I would do with video game levels, because again, I faced a lot more final bosses after making that original video, so I think it's definitely possible for me to do another final boss list with completely new entries. But those are some countdowns I would like to remake. I can't think of any others right now, but those are definitely on the chopping block because they are currently unlisted and they are very bad. Don't watch them. And Renegade Master's final question is, thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima? Again, this is another game I'm really looking forward to. This probably won't come out in 2019, and actually I hope it doesn't, because I want this game to be really, really polished, because what I've seen from Ghost of Tsushima so far has been really mixed for me. On one hand, it's really beautiful, and I like the climbing and the stealth mechanics that it has, but what I'm afraid of is that the overworld will be just big for the sake of being big and have nothing to do in it, which, to be fair, might be a little unfounded considering Sucker Punch made both Sly Cooper and Infamous, and they're both open world games. At least Sly is from the second game onwards, and they always had something to do in their overworlds, so I'm not that worried. But at the same time, modern gaming and all, they have like the trend of getting overworlds and that there's nothing in them. But my biggest fear with Ghost of Tsushima is the combat. I saw it during the E3, bits of combat in Ghost of Tsushima, and it looks really slow and really methodic. Like, I get that they're trying to go for the realistic, like, samurai feel, but I just don't like how it's looking right now. It really reminds me of Assassin's Creed 2. I do like that game, but the combat in that game was definitely not my favorite part of that game. But I just really hope, because controlling a samurai automatically gives me the thought of great combat, or just the feeling of being a samurai and just slashing down enemies. And there are some good things about the combat, like there was one part in the last year's E3 where you would encounter an enemy, you would just pull your sword out and then just take out the enemy in one hit. That was cool, but the rest of the combat was just really slow, and I just didn't like what I was seeing. But I'm optimistic for Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm really looking forward to it, but I really hope Sucker Punch won't screw it up, because they have a perfect record as of now, except maybe for Infamous Festival of Blood. I haven't played that, so I'm not sure. But I don't want this game to be their big failure. I really don't. And the next batch of questions comes from Douglas Stewart, who asks, what was your reaction to Donald collapsing in the KH3 Final Battle trailer? Well, unfortunately, it wasn't anything as extreme as, let's say, Cynical, aka Gamers Joint's reaction, but my reaction was pretty tame. I honestly can't remember how I reacted, other than maybe, oh god, Donald's dead. But I know Kingdom Hearts, and I know they're not gonna kill Donald unless they're gonna completely reboot the series, which I know they're not gonna do, because Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't end of Kingdom Hearts, it's just the end of the Darkseeker saga. So I was like, yeah, this is like that one time Goofy died in Kingdom Hearts 2, and I didn't really have any amazing reaction. I'm sorry if that disappoints you, but if a Disney character dies in Kingdom Hearts on screen, then I can't take it seriously, especially if it's Donald or Goofy. And his next question is, favorite class in Fire Emblem? That's actually a really tough one, but I think it would have to be either Swordmaster or Dark Knight, because I really like using a sword and a magic tome, so that's why I like the Dark Knight. But the Swordmaster is just so fucking cool. Like, he can wield swords that no other classes can, and it's just the techniques that some Swordsmasters in Fire Emblem can pull off is just blows my mind, and I love Swordmaster and I love Dark Knight. And I also really like Assassin, because they have the Assassinate skill, and that's really nice because it kills everyone in one hit. But I think I do prefer Dark Knight and Swordmaster over Assassin, so yeah, those are my choices. And the final question from Mr. Stewart is, favorite art to use in Tales games? I have several, but most recently, if we take some from Tales of Vesperia, for example, I like to use Demon Fang, because I'm a vanilla piece of shit. Destruction Field, because it's the best thing ever. You just slam your sword on the ground and it makes a fireball, that's amazing. And I also like using Brutal Fang, Lone Wolf Charge, Frigid Blast is another really great one. I also really like using Guardian Field, and not just in Vesperia. In Vesperia it's actually but in Xillia it's fucking Kino. But anyway, I also like some magic arts. I really like Thunderblade. That's one of my favorite magics in Tales. And I also like Holy Lance. Oh, that's right. And Sword Rain Alpha. That's also one of my favorite arts. Just Sword Rain and Sword Rain Alpha. I'm a sucker for multi-hit attacks. And especially if they're really fast. And Sword Rain Alpha and just vanilla Sword Rain, they satisfy me in a way that very few can. And I also really like Dragon Swarm and Talon Storm. That's from Xillia. And I also really like Demon Fist, which is basically like Demon Fang, but from fists. Oh, and I forgot, I love Tidal Wave from rather obvious reasons if you played Tales of Vesperia, but I love Tidal Wave. That's another one. But yeah, those are my favorite arts in Tales games. And we are closing the end of the questions here, and the second to last question comes from Arcadon Luminos, who asked, what are your thoughts on Fullmetal Alchemist and Avatar: The Last Airbender? I already explained my thoughts on Fullmetal Alchemist. I haven't seen the original 2003 anime, but I love Brotherhood. It's tied with Gurren Lagann as my favorite anime. And as for Avatar: The Last Airbender, I love it to death. It's neck to neck with Danny Phantom as my favorite Nickelodeon show. I really like it. I love the bending, the concept of bending, and the concept of just Avatar in general. And I really like the characters it has. Admittedly, my opinion on some of the characters has kind of dwindled down over the years, but I still do really like them. I especially really like Aang. He's still my favorite character in that show. And I also really like the whole series, how it has a clear beginning and an end. And everyone just has their own conclusions, and it's just really good. I love Avatar. It's great. It's really good. And the final question comes from XB2, who asks, how hype are you for Kingdom Hearts 3? Now, this is obviously a very ill-timed question, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is already out, but the deadline for the questions was literally the day before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, so I completely understand why this question is here, but the reason why I took it was so I could still answer about my thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, I was excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, not as much as probably some people, because I haven't waited for 13 years, but I do love the crap out of most Kingdom Hearts games, or I say most, but I only mean like 3 Kingdom Hearts games. I love Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and Birth by Sleep, and Dream Drop Distance is okay, and so is Chain of Memories. That one's kinda okay too, and the rest are terrible, question mark. Oh yeah, and 0.2 is also okay. But yeah, I was fairly excited for Kingdom Hearts 3 because I did want to see the conclusion of the Darkseeker saga and just how it all ends. And so far, I'm in like 20 hours into the game, and I'm really liking it. It's definitely not as good as Kingdom Hearts 2 though, but it's a fairly solid game, and I do really like a lot of things it does. There are some things I don't like about KH3, but overall I'd say it's been a fun ride for the 20 hours I've been through, but I'm sure it will crush me by the time I get to the end. I just hope that my one and only ship will become canon, and that is Aqua, Terra, and Ventus can be happy. That's literally my only ship in Kingdom Hearts. I ship Aqua, Terra, and Ventus with happiness. Please, Nomura, don't take this away from me. I'm begging you. And that's all the questions. Again, thank you all for the subscriber count again, as well as the questions you left. It was a lot of fun answering them, and I hope all of you got the answers you were looking for. I'll definitely try to do another Q&A somewhere down the line, probably another subscriber special maybe. But yeah, this was really fun to do, and I'm glad I got to do it after all these years, because I've definitely wanted to do this for a long time. Thank you all for watching, if you sticked all the way through the end, and I'll see you in the upcoming videos. Bye bye!